had no guarantee that I was going to stay in the role, but I did know that my purpose, if you like, I'd found really what I was about. And that was this notion of taking groups of people and trying to do something completely different, trying to set new benchmarks, trying to challenge individuals to be better than what they were. So 94 to 99 I stayed with Queensland, and we won a couple of Shields and we won a couple of one-day competitions in that. But by the end of that time, or towards the end of that time, I believed that I, again, was not necessarily fulfilling my real purpose, because I believed that at that time I was no longer really challenging all the individuals around me and the group around me, because from 94 we'd had a very, very stable outfit, and we'd set up the sort of things that was enabling us to do what we were doing. So in my mind, I wasn't then able to deliver what my fundamental purpose was, and therefore I wasn't influencing the people the right way. So I was getting itchy feet. I actually took a job in England for Middlesex, where they offered me to do the same thing. Didn't work out over there, but again, it was a learning experience for me personally about operating in a different country, different culture, different people. But at that time, as I said, it's generally all in the timing sometimes. Geoff Marsh retired from the Australian cricket team, and so the job was on the market. So again, I was there back in trying to say why John Buchanan, remember that incredible cricket pedigree, 1 year for Queensland, 160 runs. I did actually bowl a couple of overs too, I remember, in Adelaide, no wickets. Only a couple of overs because I was expensive. So with that incredible cricket pedigree, admittedly I had 5 years of coaching now with some success with Queensland, but why, given again that coaching in a sense was a relatively new phenomenon around the Australian cricket team. Bobby Simpson had begun in 1984, and then it was really handed over to Geoff Marsh, and in between times when they, for whatever reason, there was transitions needed, Alan Border. So again, the mould was kind of, you had to be a reasonable player of reasonable stature to actually coach your national cricket team, because you had the Wars and the McGraths and the Warnes and everybody else on that side. So again, it was for me to convince them about why I should take the role. Somehow, again, not sure why, they listened. And so I was appointed Australian cricket coach in 1999. And, it was said that here is the coach that's going to take the Australian cricket team into the new millennium. So, again, my purpose was, having been around the Queensland cricket team for those 5 years, and not necessarily initially, certainly for the first 3 years, having any aspiration to coach the Australian cricket team. But in that period, we had a number of Australian cricket players, from the Healeys and the McDermotts, the Rackmans, etc., who were coming backwards and forwards in and out of the Australian side. It said to me, and looking at their performances, that they were really still only scratching the surface. They were doing a reasonable job. They were winning games, they were losing some games, they win a series but lose games within that. Just seemed to me that they were still scratching the surface. So here was, back to my purpose again, here was that opportunity to take a group of people and take them somewhere where they hadn't been before. So that was again my pitch, if you like, to the Australian cricket team when I first met them. Our first test match was up here in Brisbane in '99. And the purpose / the picture was that we as a group were going on this journey to Everest. We're going to go on a journey to Everest. Didn't know where that would take us, but that's where we're headed. And of course, Everest, as we all, welcome. Everest, as we all know, is, the top of the world. You don't get any higher, at least by foot. It can be conquered, but there is a lot of risk in doing it. Very few people have reached that point, and then very few people can remain there, or in other words, keep doing those sorts of things. So for me, that was the analogy, and the rest of the analogy then was around the history of cricket. So within the history of cricket, for those who don't follow cricket, in 1948 there was an Australian cricket team called the Invincibles, and this was headed by Don Bradman. They'd gone to England in 1948, played some, I think probably there's some very, very good cricket person in the audience and they can correct me, but they played something like 32, 33, 36 games. Somebody qualify that totally? No? Well, that's good, I can say anything now, can't I? But they played all those games undefeated. So when they came back from that tour, they were labelled the Invincibles. So my proposition to this group, apart from climbing Everest, was that by the time that we finished our time together, whenever that might be, that we would have left an imprint in not only Australian cricket history, but world cricket history. And that maybe somewhere on the line, maybe we'd get a label, or somebody would label that period of time. So that was kind of where we're headed.